Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com, and I'm here with the Motorola Brute from Sprint and Nextel. As you can tell, it is a rugged phone, so it's shock resistant, dirt resistant, and water resistant. It can pretty much handle anything you put it through. So I have tested it out and put it through its paces to see exactly how durable it is, and we're going to see the results of that test in the full review, and I'm also going to go over some of the features that the phone has. So before we get into that, I have to say special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile. They send us free phones to add to our One Paw Bandit game, which is a game where you can win free phones. One of the great things about Best Buy Mobile is that they have this program called Walkout Working, where you can go in and buy a phone and they'll help you set up your email, any social networks you want, basically get the whole phone set up, which you may think, well, I already know how to do that, but you may know someone who maybe isn't as tech savvy as you are, and that service may be kind of helpful for them. So thank you, Best Buy Mobile, for being so awesome. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's a Motorola Brute from Sprint. I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com. Let's go check out those test results. So after dropping it a few times, dropping it from the height of just, if I were on a call from a second story balcony, dropping in the water, you can see that there is very little damage. In fact, it looks like I haven't done anything to it at all. And I really did. I dropped it several times. There were a few times, which you saw in the video, where this back cover sort of popped off kind of around the corners or the edges, and I had to just snap it back on. It stayed locked, which is important. It has to be in the lock position. You can see this symbol is there. It has to be in the lock position in order to be waterproof. So even though this kind of came unsnapped, you know, the cover itself would still stay on. I just had to snap it back on before I dropped it in the water. But, you know, really it held up very well. The hinge, it still works. Everything's smooth. I mean, there's no scratches, there's no nicks, nothing. I mean, it really looks like a brand new phone. So I'm definitely very impressed by that. And I can say that, you know, after testing out a couple of these, I don't know what just happened to the display. So you guys saw what just happened there with the phone. Thankfully I have two, because this one, the screen just went white. I'm not sure what happened to it. It was actually something I was about to comment on after I finished talking about the ruggedness of the device. So let me finish what I was saying, and then I'll get on to what I was about to talk about. But just, you know, with the ruggedness, I was definitely very impressed. This is the second device they sent me, and this is not the one that I tested, so you obviously won't be able to see any. You know, but even with the one that was dropped, it really held up very well. One thing, and this is what I was going to mention, that has to do with that screen going white. I did have a couple of problems with the phone freezing and just being kind of glitchy and buggy. You know, I understand these are inexpensive phones, and so, you know, the performance is not going to be perfect, but still, you know, that doesn't mean it can just freeze all the time, and then that's okay. I mean, it's obviously, the phone is unusable if it's going to do that. I had that problem whenever I started the camcorder. When I started recording a video, it kind of just froze up. And then it happened again, the screen just went white, and I took the battery out. I did that a couple times, powered it on, and the same thing happened. So I'm not sure if that's just the device that I got that's sort of, you know, kind of defective, there's something wrong with it, or if it's all of these. But I will say, you know, from my experience, that's happened multiple times, so definitely frustrating. Okay, so putting all of that aside, we'll talk a little bit about the features of the phone. I mean, obviously it's a very simple phone, so there's not a whole lot to talk about, but there are a couple things that I want to point out that may come in handy. First of all, you have this camera on the front here. As you can see, it does have a flash. It's a 2-megapixel camera with a flash, also records video. You know, picture quality is not going to be outstanding, and neither is video quality, but it is nice to have that feature and then to have the flash, so I'm definitely impressed by that. If we go back to the menu, and I'll go to Tools, and there are some kind of useful tools here. First of all, we have Alarm Clock Plus, which is actually a pretty decent alarm clock app. I mean, it's not just, you know, an alarm clock and you set it. I mean, there's actually some nice features there. Then you also have GPS, which will tell you your position, you know, latitude, longitude. That might come in handy for certain people. And then you have some, you know, privacy settings there. And then if we go back to the menu and then go to apps, you have Telenav navigation, you have the music player, and then NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile as well as NFL Live. So two things that, you know, I'm assuming this device is probably geared more towards men, and so that demographic will definitely appreciate those apps. And then again, you have the Alarm Clock Plus. One other, you know, interesting thing about the device, first of all, is this carousel on the main screen here. You know, it's kind of just a shortcut to everything that you would use most often, and you can personalize this carousel, so you can change these icons around. You have to do it from the menu. You can't just, you know, do it from the home screen here, but you can change them around and decide which ones you want where. So interesting there. And then one more feature that I want to talk about is with messaging. If I can find the messaging, there we go. If we go to messages and then we go to create message, it looks like, you know, your typical, you have, you know, you put in the sender or who you want to send it to, then you put in your message. But actually, if you go down to more, you can add more information. So you can add a subject line, you can add an attachment, whether it's, you know, a picture or video, and then you can CC somebody, auto reply, priority, and then valid until. So it's just little things like that that I think, you know, make the phone not just a feature phone, not just a rugged phone, but for the kind of people that are going to use this phone, whether it's, you know, people that are outside, that travel a lot, construction workers, or just, you know, the work outside a lot. You know, it's features for those people that would really help them. The GPS location, the text messaging interface that kind of, you know, adds a little more detail. And then of course, it is a direct connect capable device. So you have this button here on the side. Once you connect to someone, and then you can use it, you know, sort of like a walkie-talkie, which, you know, I know that's not as popular as it used to be in terms of, you know, mainstream popularity, but it's still a very useful tool, and I think a lot of people will find that useful. So all in all, it's a good phone. I would definitely recommend it if it weren't for the fact that it freezes up and also the fact that it's extremely expensive. It's $120 on contract. I mean, which, yeah, you're getting a lot. You're getting a phone that can hold up through anything, but even if it were a perfect device without the freezing up, I mean, 120 bucks is a lot of money for essentially a flip phone that can be dropped a couple times. So, you know, that's up to you. If you need it, then, you know, sure, go for it. But, you know, personally, I just think it's too expensive for what you get. But if you need it, you know, what are you going to do? It's there, and it's 120 bucks. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you have any questions about this phone or any other phone that I've reviewed, you can send me a message on Twitter. My screen name is It's My Job to Know. Just send a question, and I'll try my best to answer it as soon as possible. Other than that, keep it locked on PhoneDog.com because we're going to have more news, updates, more reviews, dogfights, first impressions, unboxing. We got you guys covered. So keep on PhoneDog.com. Again, I'm Sydney, and I'll see you guys later.